So the separation and the divorce are final, you've started dating, and you're wondering if this is a good time to introduce your new partner to your kids. Well, I'm glad you're being thoughtful because this is a great opportunity to build a strong and healthy foundation for the relationship between your partner and your kids, between you and your partner, and even between you and your co-parent. I'm Dr. Greg Kovacs, and today I'm talking about the hows and the whens of introducing your new partner to your kids. Welcome back to my series on the top co-parenting mistakes. And starting a new relationship and introducing your new partner to your kids, it's certainly not one of those mistakes. In fact, when you're thoughtful about the process, a new and positive adult in the lives of your kids can bring a ton of benefits to your kids, to you and your new relationship, to you yourself, even to the relationship between you and your co-parent. But maybe you're thinking, well, my dating life has nothing to do with my co-parent. So why are we talking about my co-parent or my dating life in a series on the co-parenting mistakes? And you're right, and you're also kind of wrong. And that's because when it's done really well, the relationship that your co-parent plays in your new relationship, it's kind of like the crazy glue that holds all of those positive benefits together. And yes, sometimes it does feel like crazy glue. So first, I'm going to talk about timing, and then I'm going to jump into some of the important steps that you need to take leading up to that first meeting, and then the role that your co-parent should play in that whole process. Bringing a new partner into the picture too quickly can really cause some major ripples in the family dynamic, so I do encourage sort of a waiting period, some reasonable amount of time, and a thoughtful, child-centered approach when introducing your new partner. And that's because jumping in too fast, it can be really tough on kids, and it can be really tough on the parenting and the co-parenting dynamic. So what are some of the risks of introducing your new partner too quickly? Well, divorce itself, no surprise, right? It's confusing enough, and a new partner adds a layer of complexity that can overwhelm your child's emotional world. And so introducing a new partner too soon, it can be that final straw on the back of kids who may already be on kind of an emotional overload. Second, and I've seen this often, really, your child might perceive your new partner as a rival for your love and your attention. So remember, your kids may still be struggling with a sense of loss and a sense of insecurity from the divorce itself. So it's really not much of a leap for them to feel like they're being replaced, or that your partner is trying to take the place of their other parent. And that one really is a real fear for many kids, especially younger ones, but older ones can feel that too. And now this next one is hard because it requires you to put yourself in the shoes of your co-parent, and that's not an easy thing to do. But if your ex isn't ready for the news that you're dating, or if they express negative feelings about it in front of the kids out loud, when they think they're not listening, they're always listening, your child can get stuck in this kind of nasty loyalty bind. And that's a concept I've talked about a lot in this series. They can feel torn between being excited for you and your new relationship and feeling the need to be an emotional support for their other parent. And that dynamic is really difficult for kids to navigate. It's even harder for them to extract themselves from it. The third risk, kids, especially younger kids, can form attachments really quickly. And if you introduce a bunch of casual partners, kids can form attachments, but then have to separate or cope with the repeated loss when those relationships finally end. And that can really mess with their trust, and it can mess with their ability to form healthy attachments and relationships in the future. So yes, you're going to have to take a few kind of test runs. I don't know, it takes 3, 4, I think the research says 4 or 5, something like that, relationships before you find the one that really does work well for you. But do your best to introduce only the one that you think is going to stick around for a while, one that's going to be a little more permanent in your kids' lives. Risk number 4, learning how to navigate living in 2 separate homes with 2 sets of routines, bit different rituals. There's a lot of emotion associated with that transition, and many of those emotions aren't all that positive. So if a new partner is introduced, well, all of those negative emotions are spinning around in your child's world. It's really easy for your new partner to become associated with those ugly emotions. And that's not something you want to have happen. They might even assume that your new partner is somehow responsible for those negative emotions. You certainly don't want that. Here's where your new relationship can have a nasty impact on your co-parenting relationship. So this is the next risk. When you spring a new partner on your co-parent without warning them, or if it's too soon, like I talked about, your co-parent can get protective really quick. And you may have felt this too, right? I mean, it's really easy to get protective or to perceive your co-parent's new partner as a threat to your relationship with your kids. And in some ways, to be honest, they are a threat. You've got some strange dude coming in and spending as much time, maybe even more time, with your son or your daughter. Oh, hell no, that's not going to work, right? So to be fair, family separation already means a lot less time with your kids. So it's not really unreasonable for a co-parent to fear that this new partner in your life is going to kind of take over. And fear, without the ability to discuss it or resolve it, which is the nature of many co-parenting relationships, that can make for some pretty ugly behaviors. That's almost certainly going to lead to more disagreements, more conflict, and you guessed it, that's going to impact your kids. It's going to leak right down into your kids' lives. And it makes it that much harder to co-parent in a cooperative way and to present a united front to the kids. So when is it a good time? There's no magic number, unfortunately. Every family, every child is a bit different. But I strongly suggest actually waiting until a few key things are in place. So first, wait until the darn divorce is finalized. Wait until new routines have kicked into gear and everything feels a little bit more natural. This is really important because that sense of predictability and consistency that kids experience from routines will become a solid foundation of safety and consistency. And that's something kids really need before they can accept your new partner into their lives in any meaningful way. So it's important that your kids have really adjusted to the divorce and to their new routines. And gosh, no, that's developing that safe and secure foundation. It's just not a quick build. That adjustment period can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, sometimes longer, depending on your child's age, on their temperament, and the level of conflict between you and your co-parent. So it can take quite some time, but it's really important to make sure that that foundation is in place, your kids feel secure, everything is settled. My final recommendation, and this one really is important, I mean they all are, but this is really important, and I've kind of hit on it already. Wait until your new relationship is stable and committed. I really do discourage kids meeting new partners until that new relationship has some serious long-term potential. So I suggest waiting here 6 to 9 months of exclusive dating, or even a year, maybe more, before introducing your new partner to your kids. You want to be confident that your new partner is going to be a fixture in your child's lives. Remember, this is a child-focused process. The most important consideration in your child's emotional world is whether or not they're ready to handle it. Are they emotionally in a stable, secure position where they can accept this new partner into their world without having their guard up? So that's really important. When you do introduce your new partner at the right time and in the right way, kids can benefit in a lot of ways. So first, it models healthy adult relationships. And after all of the rough dynamics, all of the insecurities and the ups and downs and the uncertainties leading up to many divorces, it's a great opportunity to show your kids that healthy and respectful relationships should be the norm. And this is what it looks like. So to begin bringing a partner into the picture when that relationship is secure and healthy, that's a really great thing for them to see. And as trust grows between your new partner and your kids, your partner can become a really positive influence, a supportive adult in your children's life. And like I said, that's something that kids really do need following a lot of turmoil and challenges and ups and downs and insecurities after a divorce. Now, something I hear from parents so often, my kids will always come first. And as many times as I've heard it, I've probably said this: happy individuals make happy couples, and happy couples make happy kids. It's not always a popular sentiment, right? Parents will say, well, no, I'm sorry, but my kids will always come first, my needs come last. Your happiness, your own happiness and stability in a healthy relationship, it can improve your overall well-being. And more often than not, happy, stable parents are better parents than miserable parents. And kids want their parents to be happy. So I'm certainly not suggesting that you let your kids sort of fend for themselves. You know, being a parent is a full-time job. You're not going to escape that. But when you start dating and you begin taking care of you, it shows your kids that life moves forward after divorce. And it's important to take charge of your own happiness, to get rid of unhealthy dynamics in your life, and to invite people in who can be a positive influence. And that's really an important lesson for kids. So you've decided that the time is right. You're going to introduce your new partner to your kids. How do you do it right? Well, number one, if at all possible, communicate with your co-parent first. When you talk with your co-parent, or at least inform them that you're going to introduce your kids, joint kids, to your ex, it shows respect, it reduces surprises, and ideally, it allows your relationship with your co-parent to become a priority in your kids' eyes. It shows a civil, or at least a united front. Hopefully a civil front, but at least a united front. Number two, prepare your children in advance. Prepare them before they're going to meet your new partner. I mean, like a week, 4 or 5 days ahead of time. This is an important step. You want your kids to be invested in your relationship. Now remember, they have no say in who you date, when you date, why you date, any of that stuff. But you want them to be invested. You want to give your kids a chance maybe to ask some questions, to learn a bit about this new person who's going to be hanging around. What do they do for a living? Do they have kids? Talk about your partner's hobbies or their interests, maybe where they live. Show them some pictures. And be sure to emphasize, especially for younger kids, be sure to emphasize that your new partner is not replacing their other parent. And that your love for them is always going to be unchanged. I mean, that's important for younger kids, of course. Older kids, it certainly can't hurt. They're going to kind of be like, yeah, we get it, Mom, we understand. But for younger kids, that's a very real fear, and it's something you want to emphasize. Now, this next piece, again, for younger kids especially, it's important. Remember, your kid's world has turned upside down a few times over the past few years or over the past year. Lots of emotions have been spinning. A lot of them have been big, some have been small, but they're really relevant. So they may have had fear. They quite likely have had some uncertainty and insecurities. And you can't let your new partner represent more of that. And like I said, your kids have zero control. What's that, the 5th time I've said it? Your kids have zero control over who you date. But you do want to give them a sense of control as they try to understand the role of this new person in their lives. So you've worked your way up to the first meet and greet with your new partner. What are some of the steps that you can take to make sure that it just goes smooth, it goes really well? First, remember, again, tattoo it on your arm if you need to. This is all about the kids. This isn't about you. It's not about your partner. It isn't about your, well, it is about your relationship, because if it goes well, it's going to help your relationship. But this is about your kids. So what should that first meeting look like? First of all, no trips to Disney, no overnight trips to, the West Coast, no big camping trips. The first meeting should be short. Keep it brief, an hour, maybe 2 hours. And keep it casual. Keep it in a neutral place, like a park or a restaurant, some place where your kids can really be themselves. Kids aren't always themselves in restaurants, but you get the idea. And really important, not immediately at home. Remember, your home represents the safest place for kids. That's their retreat. That's their tree fort, right? That's where they go to be safe. So bringing your new partner into your home for that first introduction, it's kind of like bringing your child's grade school bully into your house to play with all of their toys, or right into their bedroom. It's a violation of boundaries in a really big way. It's something to wait on until your kids really begin trusting this new and strange person. So keep the meeting short, keep it casual, and don't bring that new partner into your child's home, into your home, until your child begins to trust your new partner. Remember, that partner is taking up a lot of your time, a lot of your attention. They can easily become a threat. Don't pile on that boundary violation of bringing your partner into your home. Not quite yet. I mean, you don't have to wait very long to do that, but certainly not that first meeting. So take it slow. Introduce or integrate your partner gradually into your child's life, and allow the relationship between your kids and your new partner to develop naturally. Let it happen at your child's pace. Don't force interactions. Don't do the whole thing with the aunt, go hug your aunt or give him a kiss. Don't force any of that. Your kids will fall into it naturally, right? Let it be their pace. Give them that control. And don't express frustration if your kids are tentative, they don't want to meet them maybe, or they're a little bit agitated or grumpy in front of your new partner. Try to be supportive, try to be understanding. Just remember that your kids are not responsible for your happiness. So you can't allow their opinions to affect your decisions about dating. You are responsible for your happiness, and you're allowed to date if that is in your best interest and in their best interest. You can and should let their emotional process sort of slow you down a bit, right? If it's in their best interest, then slow down a bit. But they have zero say about whether your new partner comes into your life or leaves your life, okay? It's up to you. And don't forget to prioritize your one-on-one time with your kids. That is something they do deserve, and it's something really important to remember. You don't want your kids to feel like your new relationship is kind of cutting in on their relationship with you. It's really easy for them to feel that way. If they perceive your new partner as any kind of threat from the beginning, especially when they may still be feeling sort of a bit insecure from the separation, they may be quick to reject your partner, and that can be a really difficult repair later on. Now, this next one is really important, and it's not always a welcomed message in my work with blended families or with parents and a new partner, but your partner needs to respect the parenting boundaries, both yours and your co-parents. New partners, long-term partners, even step-parents in many, if not most, really most circumstances. They're an adult in your children's lives. They are not the primary parent. So discipline, especially early on in that relationship, months, years sometimes, should be the sole domain of the biological parent. Discipline is the sole domain of the biological parent. The new partner's role is certainly, at the beginning, is to build rapport and trust with the kids. It's to support the rules that you and your co-parent have already negotiated. That's why it's important to take some time before you start dating to get all of that stuff in place. But new partners cannot be the primary disciplinarian themselves. It backfires almost every time, I promise. And finally, be patient. Acceptance can take months or even years. Children's reactions and emotions, they can change like the weather. You know that as well as I do. Whether it's curiosity, indifference, anger, sadness, continue to be available to those kids, to your kids, and don't allow your new relationship to affect how available you are for your kids. So reassure them, especially younger kids, reassure them that you're not losing focus, and be sure to spend a little extra time with them. Don't go crazy, but a little extra time. Although introducing your new partner to your kids should be a child-centered process, your relationship is about your happiness. Happy individuals make happy couples make happy kids. Who was it? Louis C.K., the comedian. Louis C.K., I think, C.K. said before he lost his career to doing stupid things, I forget what he did. He said, "No good marriage has ever ended in divorce." I really like that because it's so true. Your divorce and now your new partner, who should be your primary emotional support, are opportunities to be happier than you've ever been. And that's the role that your kids want your new partner to have in their lives. Introducing your new partner to your kids after a divorce is a really big deal, and it's exciting. But rushing it and not being child-focused can create a whole lot of challenges for your kids, for you, for your relationship with your new partner, and for your relationship with your co-parent. It can have a lot of unwelcomed effects in a lot of ways. So you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your children's emotional adjustment, their best interests. Wait until you have a stable, committed new relationship. You're setting everybody up for success. And involve your co-parent in the process. Kind of get their buy-in, not their permission, but their buy-in. It's all about making sure that your kids feel secure, loved, and stable, even as your family continues to evolve.